Hi guys, how are you? I'm back. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to get in here. So, in my last video, I talked about how the Australian fires were mentioned in the book of Enoch, and as well as the California fires. And so, I just wanted to make a video kind of talking about that and what it says and the evidence or the proof or how I decoded it. That way, you understand um, how to kind of decode when you read certain things. Everything is symbolic. Okay. So I have some little snapshots or screenshots about um, the fires and how it translates in the book of Enoch. So, as everyone knows, Australia is burning and they have lots of fires the last time that I looked. And hold on a second. Okay, here we go. So I'm not sure if a lot of them have been put out yet or not, but this is what it looked like a couple of days ago. And that's the entire country. Okay. So um in the book of Enoch, it says, and there I saw seven stars of heaven bound on it together, like great mountains and burning like fire. Um, He says, "For what sin have they been bound, and what have they been thrown? Why have they been thrown there?" And Uriel, one of the holy angels who was okay, said that. Okay, blah 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 blah. So basically, um, it says these are some of the stars which transgressed the command of the Lord Most High, and have been bound here until 10,000 years or 10,000 ages, and are completed with the number of days of their sin. Okay, basically. So the seven stars that look like mountains. Okay, I'm going to show you. That is the Australian flag, and if you count these are six stars, and then this flag right here would represent the seventh star. So then I'll show you another photo. So yeah, and if you remember what the Aboriginal people or the native indigenous people that lived in Australia, if you remember what happened to them, um, it was a terrible thing. But this is in the book of Enoch. So, yep, the seven stars that look like mountains on it, and they're talking about the flag and the country of Australia. So, and then they talk about another place that's burning, and this is how they describe California. They describe California as, and I saw a thing, there was another great fire that burned and blazed, and there is a place that had a cleft reaching into the abyss, full of great pillars of fire. Da, da, da. So to me, like that's like the whole Southwest. That's like the Grand Canyon. That's like the Rocky Mountains. So we have fires burning in that area, and those are very detailed and described in the book of Enoch. If you read, I'll see what chapter that was in a second. Hold on. Let me see what chapter that was so that you can go see it. Oh, I don't know what chapter. Hold on. Let me go back to the website so I can give it to you. The website. Uh-oh. We'll just look up Book of Enoch and fires. That's what I did. I think it was chapter 21 or something like that. Anyway, so I'm sure there's more, but those fires are already predestined, so to say. Yeah. hmm Well, they're describing a place on the earth. So when he's looking on the earth, during you said chapter 18? Okay. So when he describes these places on the earth, he's talking about places on earth. So that would represent the Australian flag, and it would also represent California, which is the cleft, with where the cleft and the abyss. So that's like the Grand Canyon or the Rocky Mountains, and they said it was in a desert place. So, you know, if you can put two and two together, if you know geography, if you know flags, if you research, you'll find, the seven stars and blah 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 blah. So if you read that book, it's very interesting because a lot of places that are described, they're described in symbolism so that you can figure it out later on, but it's not going to come straight out and say, oh, well, California is going to be on fire and so is Australia. It says, well, all the way to the west, there'll be kitty, there'll be this it's burning on fire, and then, towards the opposite direction to the east, there'll be, this place with the seven stars and da 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 burning, and they said they will burn forever. So that means probably every summer or every, summer is over there right now in Australia. So every summer they will burn. Hmm. Right. Um, every continent on Earth is reporting arrests being made for starting many of these fires. The number of people in custody range from dozens of hundreds. Humans are wow. Fires are set on purpose. Yeah, I know. Mhm. Um, the fires are set on purpose. Yes, the fires. If you think about an engine and you have to fire up an engine and you have to create a certain temperature and a certain thing to create a certain frequency, yes, there will be fires. Everybody is not looking at this in the correct way. They're looking at it on a surface level, and it's not surface at all. It's more of a frequency level. You got to look at it on a frequency level, or you're not going to get the whole, the whole picture. So look at it from a frequency level. Would it, why would the temperature need to stay a certain temperature on the planet um, year round? When it's hot here, I mean, when it's cold here, it's hot there. When it's hot there, it's cold here. So at any time, there's going to be someone on a fire, someplace on fire. It's going to be summertime somewhere. you know. So what I'm trying to say is, it's done on purpose. Yes, I hope that you understand that. I know that it has been a plan since the beginning. The plan will have to be followed through. A, B, C, and D. Okay, so just to clear that out of the way, I understand people are purposely doing this to fulfill this instruction. I'll say that. Um, mhm. Yeah, it doesn't change the purpose of why the fires are burning, right? So it doesn't matter if they're set on purpose. We know that. Most prophecy is just set of instruction for those who are in the know. You know what I'm saying? Most prophets or prophecy is just what you're supposed to do if you are part of that group that fulfills such prophecies. So now that we know that, let's talk about why. Well, when you read the book of Enoch, it talks about how, you know, the sins and the wrongs that were done, and, these certain places were chosen, and due to the amount of wrong done. So, you know, the fires and the sufferings will take place. And the reason behind that, and I know, people that suffer for the sins of their fathers, I should say, or their ancestors. Um, should understand this and realize that this is going to be reoccurring every year. So, just so you understand. Yeah. Those fires will always be set on purpose. Will always be set on purpose every year. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It doesn't matter who set them on fire. They are going to be set on fire every single year. And so is California. So now that we understand that, let's just say that was the plan. The plan has always been put in place, no matter how it's done. It's instruction. So, just so you guys know, it is in the book of Enoch, and then they list a whole bunch of other Bible verses that it's in as well. Matthew something, a bunch of Matthew verses. So, um, right. Right, Johnny English. Yeah, I believe that. We call it gang gang. Um, and Will Smith and Beyonce had something in common this weekend, and they Will Smith posted a picture on Instagram of the Eiffel Tower in the background, and he had his hands like this, and then he had on this sweater with a bunch of like geometric triangle shapes, and that was straight up code. He's saying y'all have 10 years before we do the quantum shift, and into this, into the next form of sacred geometry. And if you're not on the frequency, then oops, because y'all know the Eiffel Tower is a giant antenna, right? And all those antennas plus all them 5G towers will line up eventually, create an Earth grid that will put the Earth on a certain frequency to quantum shift it somewhere else. I hope y'all know that. And so not everybody's going to be able to quantum shift if stuff don't get right. But then if you saw the Beyonce Ivy Park ad with um, Adidas, at the very beginning of that ad, it's a giant antenna that sticks up in the sky. And yeah, her video is 111, like 1 minute and 11 seconds. So if you go watch that, I posted it. But yeah. hmm And in order to increase the energies on the planet and to also be able to do that shift, those fires got to burn every year in order to increase the energy and the heat on the planet. And those were the places that were chosen due to the quote unquote sins of those fallen, or, transgressions. So they explained. hmm well, do you remember, if you're not on a certain frequency with a quantum shift, then you don't get shifted? I don't know. I don't know. I've never, like, I can't tell you. All I know is they kept showing a wall. They kept showing a wall in the Beyonce ad for for Ivy Park and Adidas. If you just go watch, they're always like there's a wall right behind her. There's a brick wall behind this other dude, and they're all walking towards a wall at one point in the video, representing the um, quantum tunneling that will take place. Okay, so there's an experiment with quantum tunneling in quantum physics where um, particles are, pushed towards a wall, and some go through and some don't. Some bounce back and get stuck, and some go through it like a ghost. So, right. Someone says you'll get stuck in the Pisces age. Okay. So I guess we'll find out. It'll be a mystery until it happens. Um, You watched Glitch, and the first they didn't want to go. Right. So now, those fires, no matter how much, people try to extinguish them, they're just going to start again the next year, no matter what. Hmm. And it's done on purpose. You got to know that. So it's no use. This is why I tell people it's no use to go and try to protest and save the earth and, you know, um, all that kind of stuff because it's out of your hands. And that's what's just going to happen. And that's what was meant to happen. Hmm. Yeah. Um, I feel that, you know, when you have a giant plan, it doesn't matter because you can like read, about the animals and stuff because you can repopulate animals. So they're looking at the grand picture. They're not worried about the little animals, because, they're taking the whole earth or they're taking a whole frequency or they're taking a whole realm. Basically, they're not really worried about that, you know. So God said he would destroy the earth with fire. Is that what he meant? Da, 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 da. Um, Well, if you think about what destroy means, it also means, a lot of other things. To destroy something, you can't. Remember, energy cannot die, so you can't really destroy something. It would only change forms. It would only change frequencies. It would only change shapes, frequencies, and forms, and whatever. So you're not going to destroy. You are just going to change it in a dramatic fashion. Um, y'all remember that video Earth song where Michael Jackson was standing and he was like holding on to some trees and everything was being destroyed. And then he rewound it. So, just like you can destroy, you can also recreate. So, mhm. On the show Glitch, the indigenous people received their money and inheritance that was due to them. That show is so symbolic, right? That's true. And the money and the inheritance is more of spiritual and mental and physical gifts. That is the inheritance. If you read about inheritance in biblical texts, it's always talking about spiritual, mental, and physical strengths and favor, not literal inheritance. Okay. So whenever you keep hearing about the stock market crash or financial crisis or whatever, financial crisis means, other people losing their privilege, losing their favor, losing their minds, losing their, frequency that once had favor. So it is not about physical money. It's not about, currency. It is about that aspect of inheritance. So when you decode, you have to do it depending on what you're reading. Like if it's biblical text, you have to use the same type of decoding that you would use in the Bible, which you would use in the book of Enoch, which used to be in the Bible, um, and also in the Gospels of Thomas and the teachings of Paul, I think, or something like that. They all have to be interpreted in the same way. Um, so And then Meghan Markle and Prince Henry, said, We out. We're not going to live in the UK anymore. We got to go. We're going to Canada. Peace out. We don't feel welcome. Y'all are rude. I'm out of here." Um, so they left and went to Canada and going to raise their kids there, without being under um, you know, the scrutiny and everything. And those two, they're also very symbolic of the two people, like the red, the red-headed Rh negative, and the indigenous brown, and you know I guess she's mixed black and white. So you have the like American and the Rh negative, and she is, she does have melanin, so she would represent their children will represent the Rh negative with the euromelanin if they get enough. Hopefully they do, but their frequencies will, usher in more of what they want to create and have, children want to date or marry interracially, so that the frequency of the earth and more people are able to also quantum jump. And so they're leaving out of Europe, and they're leaving out of the UK because, as you know, in the summer, it's been getting super hot there. It's been getting so hot. People are like fainting and, having heat stroke. And so they want to raise their children there. It's too hot. In the summer, it's going to get even hotter. And they're not going to live there. Hmm. They're the new Adam and Eve. Well, they're more influential and more popular than, his brother, William and Kate. So they were still in the spotlight, and they weren't even as high up in rank as his brother was. So, you know, people were basically ignoring the one that was higher up for, the one lower in rank, because I told you guys influence is more valuable than anything. So now, since he and Megan bowed out and went to Canada, their influence is going to shift more on this side of, of the pond, as we should say. And they'll probably be visiting America a lot as well, since Canada is right there. So I'm sure she'll go back to work, probably doing film and whatever, maybe, who knows. But they're going to become more like celebrities versus royal family, because celebrities have way more influence. You're gonna start seeing them at Beyonce's house and partying with Jay-Z and them. That's where you're gonna start seeing them. They're gonna start, being in the spotlight and having way more influence at as celebrities than royalty. So I believe that's the whole thing that's gonna happen. And they were already getting that. And I don't think the royal family appreciated it, because they were getting that celebrity status. And so, they were dimming their light, basically. So they have to come to America slash Canada, because they're going to be back and forth, to shine, basically. They got to shine. Hmm. That was always the plan. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I mean, you can't put someone somewhere and not expect them to be themselves or shine or, do what they want to do, given their status in life. So eventually, I'm pretty sure that was always in the plan. But it's going to be interesting to see. Hmm. But that influence is what's going to do it. You're going to gain way more influence in the royal. Sooner or later, you're not even going to hear about the other people. They're going to be like, who? What? What they doing? We don't care. Mhm. Right. Um, thank you. You think they are safe leaving behind the royal family? Yeah, they always going to be safe. They're safe. They're fine. They're good. Yeah. Like I don't worry. Like we don't worry about safety anymore when it comes to stuff like that, because in this day and age, we know a lot of people will fake their death. They have doubles. They have security guards. They have so many. They have so much technology now. It's pretty easy. So I'm sure they're going to be safe. I don't see anybody making threats on them. They're not really causing any issues. They'll still have their royal privileges. Yeah, that's the same thing as being a celebrity. You get to go anywhere when you want to go, as long as you pay. Um, did you know that the reason why the press focused on her because William cheated on Kate, and the royal palace told the press they had to find someone else to report on? It backfired. Yeah, I know he cheated. They all cheat, so and I would be mad if I was Kate. I'm like, you gonna be bald and cheating? Pick a struggle. Now you're gonna have to cheat because you're not getting nothing over here. So he said now they're gonna have to cheat because it's over. He cheated on her with a former party girl. Kate was never a party girl. I hope she was drunk because I think it's funny because, like, I mean, first of all, you don't even have a chance because he's married. Second of all, he's ugly. Third of all, them teeth. So, I hope he gave her some money. That's all I know. I hope she got paid. Hope she got some money. Anyway. Oh, she was married too? Well, oh well. So back to this weather. Okay, so it's 80 degrees here in Houston today, almost. Yeah. Now it's getting cloudy. I think it's gonna rain and then it's gonna be cold tomorrow. No, no. Yeah, it's gonna rain and then get cold tomorrow. But every other day it's hot and then cold, hot and cold. Planet heating up. Yeah, it's like an engine. It's gotta rev up before takeoff. Gotta heat up that engine. You know, um, there's a lot of rap songs that talk about it, especially Lil Wayne stuff. His last album, and yeah, 60 in Atlanta. Wow. There are so many rappers that are geniuses that y'all wouldn't even realize because how they put their lyrics and they put code in their lyrics is amazing. Um, like you totally will underestimate them, and I know a lot of people do. But if you listen to Lil Wayne's last album, it's all code, the whole thing, and it tells you a lot about what's happening now. 86 in Tampa. Wow. Yep. There's a major rise going on in these ethers. Was Shakespeare the original rapper? Probably not. How do we make sure we quantum jump in 10 years? Keep your melanin. That's how you're going to quantum jump. The higher your frequency is lifted, the better you will be able to quantum jump. Yeah. You're supposed to get snow in Oklahoma. Wow. I wish it would snow here, but I don't see that ever happening in the future anymore. It's too hot now. Um, do you think that the rich will run the earth and then escape with their families to live on Mars? Earth will be like Mars. Think about this for a second. If you have an Earth grid, okay, and it's over, like, what is it going to take? What is the most energetic thing that the planet would take if it were to shift at quantum? It's not going to take the whole planet, So this is what I believe. I believe Earth will be left like Mars. It's kind of like taking the whole thing and leaving the dry land to be re-terraformed. It's kind of like taking the whole thing, but leaving, you know, what's left on it. So, right, I think they will have to re-terraform Earth. Hmm. Oh, Earth is the new Mars, right? Because that's the same thing that happened to Mars, the same thing that's going to happen to Earth. So they will just switch places again. You see? And so Earth will be where Mars is, and Mars will be where Earth is. And then you will have the new Mars. That's how you get to Mars. That's what I believe. I believe Earth will be left like Mars was left, but they will probably switch positions. Hmm. Do you think World War III will happen? No, I talked about that. That World War III is not a physical war; it is a spiritual transition from 3D Earth into 4D Earth, which will then have the quantum leap. It will create a wormhole, which is the donut hole, and then you know what I'm saying? Somewhere else, it'll disappear. It'll implode within itself inside that hole and go somewhere else. Um, I call it blacking out. Um, I'm going to use the acre of Mars to quantum leap. Well, you don't need a ship to Mars. Your body is your ship. Like, honestly. So, you know how they're preparing on how to survive on Mars? Well, that's code right there. How to survive on a Mars-like environment. That will be what Earth is left as, a Mars-like environment. So, how will you survive a Mars-like environment? Remember on the movie Book of Eli when Denzel Washington was blind and the whole Earth had been scorched and it was like a hot desert, like Mars. And he was walking around and the desert was everywhere. Well, it was still on Earth, but it was like Mars. And when they say it's like Mars, they're saying it's like war, the god of war. It means it's everything is a constant battle. Everything is a constant struggle. Everything is a war within and a war against, the elements are a war against you. So that movie was trying to tell you that, you know, all the people that are left are going to have to basically start over. And that's why they wanted that Bible in the movie because it had all the code in it, right? How to restart it and how to rule it and how to recreate it. But, um, Eli Dizel was given instruction to not let that book get in certain people's hands. And that was his one job to make it to a certain library place for the secret society, I'm sure, to get that book. And, you know, that's what I think the movie was. Um, Do I believe in the end of time? Well, if you're no longer in this place where in this solar system with this sun, with this type of timeline or time, then that time don't exist. If you shift, or if the earth is changing into a new form and the sun no longer is doing the same thing that it did, what, 10 years ago, time changes. Like you could see the almost the full moon during the day yesterday or the day before that, just sitting there. I need to watch, yeah, Cloud Atlas was crazy, right? I need to watch that again. Right. So now to live on other planets, you have to get there. And that's the whole thing. Those are like you can't really get there unless you travel a certain way. And that way is quantum travel, you know. Y'all remember how in Star Trek they would like, beam me up, Scotty, or whatever? That same thing. So they would have to quantum travel to another location. hmm Where would they get enough fuel from to travel to a whole different planet? It's too far. That in itself will tell you that it could never happen. Um, and how are they going to get back? You know what I'm saying? How are they going to get back if they need more supplies? Who's going to bring them the fuel? You know, are they going to use solar energy? Are they going to be able to withstand that radiation? So it's a lot of stuff that they can't figure out. And so I feel that that's why they're preparing for Mars because that's what the Earth will eventually become. I do own some property. I have a Mars deed right here. I'm looking at it. I sure do. You want to rent it? It's funny, right? Big scam. But I just wanted it. Just in case I have to come back. I claim my territory. Um, so you like to get your old grubby hands on me? Oh no. Your old grubby hands. Well, you need to wash them hands. And put some lotion on too. So you're gonna be ashy. I feel like I have to block a troll every live. Yeah. You see, trolls don't trigger me. You can't be triggered in this world anymore. That's just like a fly or a gnat. Eventually it's like, oh well, let it be. Um, she is wise. I feel strong spirit in the room. The Jedi vibe. Thank you. What verse is it in? Just go to Google. Look, I don't have the book upstairs with me. It's downstairs in my bedroom. But just type in fires in the book of Enoch, and it will bring up a couple of. I'll just do it. It'll bring up a couple of websites with verses on it. Let me look it up because I just did it. And what is wrong with it? Oh, that's why. It was on the wrong search engine. Whoa. This is alchemy. Oh, the academy. Okay. Hold on. I have to put the book of Enoch because there's other people named Enoch. Hold on. Gotta be specific. All right. Um, I think it's chapter 21 actually. Hmm. Let me look. Let me be sure. They talk about a lot of fires in here, but I think this is it. Yeah, it's chapter 21. Chapter 21. It says, and I saw a terrible thing, neither the high heaven nor the firm ground, but a desert place prepared and terrible. So Australian is very like desert like. They said there were seven great stars, like mountains. Those are the stars on the flag, plus the giant star, which is like the British looking flag thing. And then it talks about also the California burning with the place with the great cleft pillars and the abyss, which is the Grand Canyon or the mountains or the Rocky Mountains or something like that. So it talks about California and that Australia flag describing Australia, the land of Australia. Let me see if there's any more fires. Mm. Depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared. Da, 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 da. Okay, what? Until you baptize, or okay, so it's just talking. These are like the Bible verses underneath, not the Book of Enoch. But underneath that Book of Enoch passage, it also backs it up with biblical passages from Matthew, because a lot of the same things are being said. Grandpa loves you, Princess. Oh, well, I already have an old husband. Okay, I'm already married to an older man. He's probably older than you. Scoot. Anyway, Enoch transforms into Megatron. Enoch is what? Yep, yep, yep. I believe that. So honestly, the whole thing is just pre-planned. It's gonna happen. That's what you're seeing. Read the Book of Enoch so that you know exactly, you know, what is happening, what's going on, and why. Mhm. So why are billionaires building physical, actual spaceships and saying they are literally going? Did you touch the spaceship? Because they build spaceships for movie sets every day. I mean, you can fly, but you can't leave. You can go up and you can go up into the ionosphere. You can go glide around the world and things like that. You can get up to a certain level above the ionosphere, but you can't go anywhere else. So they can live up there to escape what's down here. Kind of like the Jetsons. Y'all remember the Jetsons when they lived way up in the sky? Why do you think they live way up in the sky? What happened to the ground? Okay. The Jetsons was trying to tell y'all why everybody up in the sky. Because the ground is burning. Everything burnt down there. So, you know, the Jetsons still lived on Earth, but they lived in the sky. Mhm. The Jetsons was set in 2020. Wow. See? So, and remember his car was a spaceship, a flying car. So the ground is going to be like messed up. So they gonna have to get up there. You just watched the Jetsons last week? That's how our new world is going to look. I don't know. Do y'all remember the Cloud Atlas movie? They had to go to a whole new place, and I forgot how they got there. I don't know. I guess it was a spaceship. I have to watch that over. I forgot the ending, but I know that they weren't on Earth at the end, and I don't know what happened on the Earth either. I forgot that movie. I need to go watch it again. There's many movies showing people living in the sky. Yeah. So just something to think about and ponder. And if you think about a lot of things, maybe it burned, maybe it flooded. Y'all remember the Matrix movie? Everything on the ground was scorched. So, in the TV show The 100, they were living in space because of a nuclear explosion on Earth. So, yeah, a nuclear explosion on Earth, I wouldn't take that literally. I would take it as far as a frequency. Thank you, Jasmine White, Sprinkle Sprinkle. It's been a while since I've taken the elixirs. Do I start over or look? Eh, I don't. I would start over because it's like it's a building process, and if you stop, you might need to start over. So um, that's why it's important to just complete it so that you know it could have the correct frequency building of your body. Thank you, though. Um, so what was I saying? Oh, nuclear. There's a nuclear star. There's a star that is a nuclear pulsar. It's a pulsar star that's close to the Earth, and it's sending off a pulsar frequency. And there's also those 5G towers that are also sending out a frequency like a pulse. And though, if you take a nuclear weapon and you know ig- ignite it in the air and not the ground, it will also cause a nuclear pulse. So, what they're trying to do is get this earth grid or this frequency of the earth up to a certain degree to quantum shift it. Now, it will have to have a higher frequency, and that's how they will create higher frequencies with those type of things, but not on the ground, in the air. And those frequencies will be like radiation and pulsed radiation because it has to get the frequency of the planet up. Mhm. And when the frequency of the planet is up to a certain level, then it can shift. They've already done it twice in America. Y'all just don't even realize. And I talked about this in another video. They've already done it twice over America, but you don't even realize it. Do y'all? They did it in Louisiana and in New York and probably in California, probably in Texas too. Thank you, Just Judith. Thank you for being you and sharing with us. You're welcome, girl. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So a lot of you guys who probably saw that YouTube video of New York, and they said, "Oh, it was the power plant exploded, and there was like this blue flash of light, and the whole electricity went out for a little while. It was like a little blackout, and then they showed like these blue lights in the sky over New York. That was the thing detonating. They did it in Louisiana too. Those places are on ley lines. They got to detonate over the ley line to get the earth grid and frequency up. So they've already done it. You just don't know it. It just looks like lots of lightning with no sound. Mhm. Y'all remember them strange thunderstorms with all that weird lightning last year? That was not like real lightning that you've ever seen before? Mhm. So, I know y'all can remember. Have you seen that weird lightning? Do y'all remember last summer? Well, I know in Texas. Last summer, if you just look out of your window when it starts to rain, you'll see some strange lightning with no sound, no thunder, no nothing. It don't even look like real lightning. And it's just always covered with clouds. You can't see what's really going on. So they're already using those weapons to raise the frequency of the planet, but they're doing it in the sky so that there's no damage on the ground, but the frequency is still able to rise. Mhm. So, do I actually believe that literal space travel is not okay? It would be for some people, okay? But honestly, you would not last long in space. Too much radiation, unless your body was able to process radiation. But if you were able to do that, you would be able to also quantum leap and you wouldn't need the space travel. You see? So there's two views. There's the scientific view and then there's the quantum view. With the quantum view, you don't need to travel in space. You can quantum jump. So why would you need to space travel? You see? You don't need space travel if you can quantum jump. In order for you to maintain health in space, you would need the same thing you would need to quantum jump. So you could roll around in the ionosphere above the earth, you know, but if you get out there a certain, far out, your bones will start deteriorating from radiation. So you saw that in Louisiana a few years ago. Yeah, that's what it was. And they're about to do it again. Every summer they gonna do it. Every summer they're going to detonate over a place in the sky to raise the frequency for 10 years until the quantum jump. And every time they detonate and detonate and detonate, it's going to rise higher and higher and higher the frequency. And there'll be more radiation in the planet. There'll be more, energy in the planet. It's kind of like waking up the planet, and it's kind of like waking the planet up so that it can be shifted. So heating it up, getting it ready, firing it up so that it could quantum jump. More diseases, yeah. Basically, it's not going to be more diseases. It's going to be lowered immune systems. Okay, because that's another thing, a symptom of radiation poisoning or being bombarded by all these frequencies and pulsars and 5G plus the radiation from the sun plus the radiation from the stuff and being detonated in the sky. Your immune system will be lowered, and a lot of animals' immune systems will be lowered also. So therefore, more diseases. You know, um, do you think there is a plasma event happening from the sun too? Yep, that's also that's also what's coming in as well. Yeah, that's also helping. Which mean, Yes, it's in the movie Pitch Black. It's in all the movies. Yeah. So when the frequency gets to a certain level, all the appointed places will activate and quantum shift the planet. So that's why you have the Eiffel Tower. You have all these very tall buildings with giant antennas on top of it. You have all these 5G towers. That's for a reason. I mean, it's been written about for a long time. And this is Earth Grids. I showed y'all this book so many times. Yeah. So in quantum physics, a particle and a wave a particle can become a wave, and a wave can become a particle. And a frequency is a wave. So the Earth can become a frequency and be shifted through quantum physics. And in order to do that, you have to get to a certain temperature and a certain frequency. So that's why all of the heating up, all of the fire, all of the air detonations of nukes, and so on and so forth. So sacred geometry. And it's just going to keep evolving until it shifts. And it's already in the process. So the next 10 years is going to be very interesting. So, hold on, read something real quick. It talks about the crystal grids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So dragon ley lines, energies, electromagnetic fields, blah, blah, blah. If y'all want the science of it. How do you explain Australia want in the Bible? Huh? How do you explain Australia? It doesn't say Australia. It says the land with 7 stars like mountains, and that's the Australian flag. So if you were going to fulfill a prophecy and you were going to go colonize a land, and you understood what this land was eventually going to become due to your Masonic upbringing and teachings, you would then make the flag have 7 stars on it. See? So, like I said, it's all a plan. It's not, oh, I'm psychic and I predicted something from the future. No, it was already planned. Everything is not coincidence. Everything is planned. And yes, Australia was not in the Bible, but when they got to that land and they understood what this land was going to be in the future, eventually, they sure did line up the symbols and prophecy to be that said land. So, you got to understand how this works. It's people, it's energies, it's frequencies that understand what's going to happen, and the signs to point to the direction so that you can create the prophecy, not be amazed that something happened, but so that you can put in place the prophecy. The prophecy is instruction to certain people, not miracles or psychic, predictions. It's instruction. If you had a book of prophecy and you wanted to make people think a certain thing, and the book was widespread knowledge, and you had the tools, the power, the money to create the prophecies so that the people could see, then you would absolutely do it, especially if you already knew that the prophecies were written by, the very group that you belong to. Okay. So I wish that you guys would stop thinking that it was like a miracle. No, it's instruction. That's all. Right. Yeah, I can read your future. Mhm. You will go to the bathroom sometime today. Um, I remember this was mentioned in the show, The Atheist Experiment. Yeah, right. I just started reading the Book of Enoch. Did you recommend anything to go along with it? Yeah, Book of Symbolism, etymology. Google if you don't know why a word is there, Google the etymology of it. So, yep, a lot of people are what I call, going a little, a lot of this radiation. If you just look up the symptoms of like radiation poisoning, UVB radiation exposure or poisoning, the symptoms, blah, 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 blah. You'll see a lot of the common symptoms happening to normal people: mental breakdowns, chemical imbalances in your brain, lowered immune system, depression, you know, um, things like that, because our brains work on electricity, and a lot of people that are exposed too much will start having those symptoms. West Coast getting slammed with Fukushima. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Um, mhm. I've always been kind of depressed, but you okay? I know. Thanks. Thank you, Flower Power. Is there a spell to shrink your feet? Yeah, it's called chop them off. No, y'all still asking me these weird, silly questions like this. Thank you for the donation, but I'm talking about like some serious stuff, and you asking me how to shrink your feet. Just wear black shoes, round toe black shoes. They'll make them look smaller because I have big feet. So get you some round toe black heels, black pumps. If you wear high heels that are round toed, your feet will look small. Don't wear no white shoes. Don't wear no white shoes. Okay. Um, because I don't wear white shoes. They make my feet look, unless they're high heels, because your feet's kind of up like this. I don't wear no flat white shoes. They look like boats. Um, Feet binding. Oh, they did that. Didn't they do that in China? If you have big feet, it's probably because you're tall. And if you have smaller feet, you will probably tip over and fall. So you need feet. Um, I always appreciate a class clown. I hope that was a joke, but thank you for the donation. I still appreciate it. If it wasn't a joke, I'm sorry. I can't shrink feet. You're a size 9 and only 5'5". So is my daughter. You probably gonna grow. If not, then that's normal. Thank you. Work at home. Sprinkle, sprinkle. My daughter is 5'5" and her shoe size is a 9. That's normal. I never got a tracking number on my Elixir. Oh, it'll probably be emailed to you from Dropshipper. Check your junk mail, or just write me on Etsy, and I'll ask them for it. Okay, why do I feel like a shooter? You just said this on their live video. I don't know. So anyway, be happy for your big feet. At least you're not gonna fall over. So I've noticed that a lot of people are really more focused on their looks lately, which is okay, which is good. You need to represent yourself, but you also need to balance it out with looking within. Are you good on the inside? Do you know stuff? Are you still, can you be taken advantage of in another way? So make sure you're taking care of the inside as well. So anyway, so now that y'all know, like, y'all don't really have to be scared or surprised about anything that's going on. If you just read a lot of stuff, where stuff is probably going to happen, where not to be, when not to be there, and um, what to expect, you know, and so you won't be sitting over there panicking and lowering your own frequency so that you're not rising with the frequency of the planet. So that's another thing, don't live in fear, learn. The more you learn, the less fear you have. Because I have all these questions asking me, well, what do you think about this? Well, are you scared of this? Are you scared of war? Are you scared of this? No, no, no. Because it's not in there. And if it ain't in there, it's not happening, you know, because it was already pre-written what the plan was. And they normally never ever stray from that plan. They haven't so far. So just understand that. Understand that. And if when you learn how to decode, or if you know someone that knows how to decode and you learn from them, then you won't have anything to really fear because you know exactly where to go, where you're safe, what's happening, why it's getting hotter, the earth, there's no global warming, there's no climate change, there's a frequency shift. And you won't be out there protesting with Greta Thunberg. You won't be doing none of that silly stuff. You won't be voting. You won't be doing a lot of things that the people who are not in the know will be doing. And you'll just be sitting back and just being like, I'm good. You know, just like on that Foot Locker commercial, the greatest week ever, you'll be fine. Um, I'm sure there's you can look online and just read the whole book of Enoch if you want. I'm pretty sure it's up there. hmm Why does The Simpsons predict the future? Because they already know the plan, so that they put stuff in there so to help wake other people up. Right. Um, but you said women should only care about their looks. I said women should care about their looks, yeah, but also the inside. Okay, mental level up is huge. Mental. Okay, that's half the game. Sure, is time travel possible in the physical realm if you have found the right spell to do it? No, I don't think you need a spell to time travel. You see, I think you guys are just like not understanding quantum physics. Most scientists will tell you that if you understand quantum physics, then you understand time travel. Um, so certain people, if they were going to time travel, could not go into the past. They could possibly only go into the future. Um, so depends on your frequency and what you want to time travel for, because you could do that mentally. hmm Like you can time travel mentally. The truth is out there in the stars in the quantum realm with high frequencies. That's, yeah. So I know quantum physics now. Yep. I know enough to know what's going on. How about you? You know enough to know what's going on. See, that's why you have to keep learning. You never stop learning until, you know, ever. Is this frequency shift has a purpose or yeah, to shift the entire okay, I guess a lot of new people are coming in. There is going to be a quantum jump to another place or another frequency or another realm or another earth or another world or another reality. And you got to be on a certain frequency in order to be shifted with it. So that's why. If you have ancient knowledge, if you read ancient text, every one of them point to the same event. Every one of them. You know what I mean? So it's happened before and it will happen again very soon. So the time is getting near for this event to happen again. And then on and on. Then you start over. Whoever's left behind or not. I don't know. I'm not trying to be here. You still be paying your bills in 10 years? Not if you ain't got no bills to pay. Not if you ain't got no house. Not if you can't be mentally sane enough to go get a job and pay them bills. You know what I'm saying? Bird Box, that movie Cell, Thriller, Night of the Living Dead. Come on now. American Horror Story Apocalypse. Y'all remember all them people walking around because radiation and their hair was all falling out and they was like all mentally disabled and looking crazy? And all the people that were left had to go underground. Yeah, that was a silly show, but I like that show. Electricity, gas, etc. Stop dodging the point. What? Okay, so electricity will be able to be harnessed for free, so you ain't got to pay for that. Gas, most of the stuff is going to be solar. You know, um, I don't know. You can pay them if you want to. Are you going to even be able to see? That's the thing. If they keep building the energy of the earth, somebody's brain gonna short circuit. You might not even know what a bill is. You know what I'm saying? You might be walking around in a circle in your backyard with some tidy whities on. We don't know. But that's not the point. The point is, are you going to be mentally functional enough to even know what a bill is once the frequency gets to a certain frequency? You know? So I'm trying to tell you, because you're not here, that a frequency is a literal frequency, not some, fluffy, stupid new age stuff. I'm talking about an electrical frequency. Thank you, Danielle. What is the best book for beginner decoding? I'm new. Any book on signs and symbols, signs and symbols, dictionary, signs and symbols, encyclopedia. Every time you Google something, Google the etymology of the word as well. It's going to tell you a lot. It's hermetics, universal law. There's just so much to learn. It's years of study, but you can start with signs and symbols and universal law. Learn universal law. So, yeah, I'm not talking about no light, fluffy stuff. I'm talking about literal electrical frequencies. I wouldn't be sitting up here talking about some silly stuff like the frequencies of spiritual. No, I'm talking about electrical frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies to be exact. So when the electromagnetic frequencies of the planet increase, so will certain people's energy, so will certain people's intellect, and then some people will decrease. Their brain will short circuit. They will not be able to handle certain frequencies, and then of course they're not going to have to pay bills because they're not going to be held accountable for that because they're out their mind, just like on Bird Box. Uh-huh. Oh, peaceful warrior, we don't care. We already know what's going to happen if you don't get off. If you do, get on board. I don't argue with people when stuff is already going down. So raise your frequency by meditating. Mhm. Pre- Pretend to be out of your mind so you don't have to. That's a good idea. Some people might. And then then when it's time to shift, they'll just straighten up and be like, I'm ready. Hmm. How dare you have a grasp on the reality painted for you? How dare you have a grasp on that reality given to you? I have seen a lot of things we are discussing right now. Yeah. There's a lot of pictures that have been taken, and I have taken some too, of these cloaked aircraft that are in the sky as well. Sasha and I saw one, and we took pictures of it. Um, and they're releasing all of this information now. You got all these new channels coming out, all these new Gia or Gaia, and because they want you to figure it out before the time happens, so you don't be sitting there looking stupid. You know, so they're letting the knowledge out to the public. You know, and it's up to you to get it and seek it or not. Right? You saw one? Okay. Damn, this channel is full of goddesses. Were you in here trying to pick up women in there? Okay. Anyway, what time is it? I gotta go soon. So I just wanted to pop on and show you where that Australian fire was in the Book of Enoch, as well as the California one, as well as other stuff. And keep reading it, and you'll decode it if you have, if you have time. You will see a lot of other places that they speak about geographically, and you'll understand what's going to happen, what is happening, why it's happening, and the signs of what's going down. So you don't have to sit there and worry about every single thing you see on the news. As long as you understand what your part is and what you need to do and stay focused on, then you'll be fine. Right. Um, are you going to your level up? No. Maybe later or maybe tomorrow. Keep your frequency high, keep your body light, organic, nutritious goods. Lots of water. Yes. Drink water. Any quick take-home tips to prepare for the frequency shift? Every way you can raise your frequency, raise it. If I mean, I get very detailed on my videos from earlier this year, but I have to pull back because everybody's too sensitive and triggered. But yeah, every time people ask me this question and I give the answer, people get too triggered. So either you figure it out, you change and you do it, or you don't. So eating things that are more um, higher in frequency. I'll just say that. Um, right. That's all. Being of a higher frequency, as high as you can get. If you're not married or if you don't have children, choosing a partner of higher frequency and having children with a higher frequency, that's another thing that you can do. Hmm. So you said get a book called Decoding for Dummies. Hmm. I got what? Peaceful Warrior is a troll. Yeah, we know he's a troll. He's like the reject troll too. He can't even troll right. I appreciate a good troll every now and then. That's not corny and you know silly. I look forward to the day I can get a real troll once again. Ooh, the challenge is so thrilling. But these days, all I get is corny trolls. Right? I know. It's like, come on. All my good trolls turn into viewers and subscribers and nice people. Oh well. Would you care to debate? I don't debate. Why would I debate? I know what I'm saying. If you don't, then go debate somebody else. There's no need to debate. You can't debate what is. That's it. Oh, I just remembered I had a dream about the apocalypse last night. Oh, wow. What do we need to do to get ready? I just told y'all what y'all need to do. Eat right, drink water. If you marry or have children, make sure you do that with people of higher frequency. That's it. They're showing you everywhere. Everywhere you look, that's what you're going to see. Every television show you turn on, you're going to see it. Everything you look at, it's going to point to it. Hmm. What will happen to the money system? Nothing. Nothing will happen to the money system. I told you that's code. If I don't know if you were watching from earlier, but money is code for something else. So, big smile is MJ reborn again. I don't know. I don't think he ever died. So, sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you for that donation. Land of the dead has many meanings. That's right. Tell him. Je suis. Je suis. I am. Our soul being is a frequency. That's right. Did you know Ashura tonight at 8? Da, da, da. Oh, 2020. Wow. Is it a full moon tonight? I know there's an eclipse tomorrow. That's the eclipse right there. That's what's going to bring it in. Yeah. Yeah. The wolf moon eclipse. That is going to bring in the you're going to start to see a lot of people really just thrive and take off. Like manifestations like crazy are going to start happening because of the frequency shift. The higher the frequency get, the more you're going to start seeing people, be able to manifest who also are rising with that frequency. So you rising with that frequency and are, getting the energies from that frequency, you're also going to level up your manifestation powers. So that's going to be good. Um, mhm. Right, right. Your consciousness is a frequency that occurs in your head, sister. Yeah, it sure is. But don't your brain work off of electricity? I mean, I'm just saying. Does a dead body in the ground have a consciousness though? How did Dr. Frankenstein reanimate the dead? With lightning, with electricity, with a frequency. So, how did they used to treat mental illness back in the old days? Shock therapy. I think they were doing all of that. Frequency shifts. So, mhm. Or I think when someone dies, they got to get them little paddles and go bzz, clear. Bzz. They have to give you a new frequency. So, when you connect, if you can connect to the universe, you become the vast frequency. Yeah. So that's like, okay, say you have a iPhone 11. Now let's say you have an iPhone 4 and you're trying to get on the internet, but everything is 4G, 5G, in a and you can't get on because you don't have enough um, of a frequency from your phone, and none of the frequencies from the 5G towers or even the 4G tower are coming into your phone anymore because they're not able to pick it up. You know, just because you understand how 5G and 4G works does not mean you're going to get a signal on an iPhone 4. So basically, you know, as long as you are able to receive the frequency and pick it up, then yes, you will be able to communicate with the cosmos and shift and do all of that good stuff. Hmm. Do I drink alcohol? Nope. Eclipse tomorrow at 222. Wow, really? 222. Mhm. Right. Hmm. Raise your frequency. Remember what you forgot. Yeah, it's all going to come back. I'm trying to read some of these comments. You said you want a man with a high frequency. How do you know how to measure it? Y'all can tell them. I'm gonna let y'all tell them. She says, how she know her man got a high frequency? I'm gonna let y'all tell her. They gonna tell you in the comments real quick. Okay, I'll let y'all know when I see the right answer. I don't see the right answer yet. Still don't see the right answer. Okay. Emily Page has the answer. Okay. Hannah got the answer. I saw somebody else with it up there. Gypsy Tears. There you go. um, y'all are silly. Okay, thank y'all for the answers. So, I mean, she asked the question. Did y'all hear my cat sneeze? Kitty got a cold. You got a cold, Kitty? Got a cold? And you got a cold? She got like her head. Y'all know how to cure cat colds? Let me give you some silver, Kitty. I know a lot of people say they have allergies. I wonder if she's getting cat allergies. That's weird. Never had a cat have an allergy. Right. You got an allergy, Kitty? All right. She's still eating a lot, so I don't know if she's not sick. I mean, like sick, sick. She's eating up everything. Electromagnetic antennas will be alerted. Right. Right. Our bodies emit frequencies. Right. Yeah. Well, the higher frequencies are going to be the most electromagnetic people. So scientifically, that would be the most uh, eumelanated people on the planet would be the higher frequency beings because energy wise, they will be able to absorb and utilize all the energy from the sun, all the energy from the radiation coming in. Their body will be able to create and use that energy as fuel. So, and also as information and things like that. So that is what the frequency is. But what about melanated brothers and sisters? Well, it's kind of like depending on what they're doing, like what depending on what they're doing, the frequency is going to raise so much that they're going to start thinking different and choosing different choices automatically in the future because they're going to be woken up scientifically through the electromagnetic frequency. You know, you know how like some people just automatically just stop having a craving for something, and then they stop doing this and then they stop doing that. It's kind of like that. They're just waking up in phases. It might take a while, but they'll wake up in phases or at least start questioning things that they'd never questioned before and starting on some type of awakening. Right. So Real eyes seeing things that they realize. Right. You went vegan and you didn't understand why? Or maybe that's a good thing. It's like instinct almost, right? What about the ringing in your ears? That's frequency shift. Like when your frequency rises, it's kind of like tuning in, and you got to get to the right frequency in order for that ringing to stop. So it's just your frequency getting higher and trying to tune in to thank you, Ashley. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That was a very nice donation. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, melanin will not save you. No, you melanin. You melanin. Yes. EUMELANIN. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. I saw that. That was very nice. Go back and make sure I get an extra one. Thank you, Ashley. Okay. Do I realize white people stopped slavery? I'm gonna let y'all get that one. I'm gonna let y'all get that one because I can't. I told y'all I can't talk about things that trigger other people. I will let y'all talk about it. I know somebody here understand and know the truth. So I don't get triggered no more. It's funny though. And provider and protector is a requirement. So, y'all can go do your own research. You can go do your own research on who stopped slavery, why they stopped slavery. The question is why. Okay, think about it. If they did, the question would be why. Uh-huh. No. See, the people that know the real information and the real history, they already know that if they already know the truth. And they already know that if that were true, that the only reason that they would have stopped slavery is if they found out the truth on who those slaves were. You know what I'm saying? Um, and since he don't know that, I'm assuming he don't know the truth about why. Why? You said Nat Turner was your hero. Right. So they're creators. That's right, happy, happy. They realized they had enslaved their very creators. And they realized what was to come for them. That would be the only reason, because they realized many of them already knew, but they also realized some of them realized that they had enslaved their own creators, and that would be the consequence of that. So not right. I communicate with the Shira through the stars. What? Quantum entanglement? Okay. I hear a loud, piercing tone in certain neighborhoods. Why do some cities allow that? What neighborhood is it? Is it a nice neighborhood? A bad neighborhood? What does the neighborhood look like? Mhm. Because honestly, really, we are not truly free. We're free. A lot of people just don't realize it. We're free. We just don't realize it. Kitty. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Peaceful warrior, get the real history though. Go way back before that. Mhm. Go way, way back. You just starting like at the end. You gotta go further than that to understand. You know, if you had realized that if you had realized that you had enslaved your own uh creators and the very people that were to save you in the end, if they wanted to, would you let them go too? I can hear the electrical currents sometimes. Oh yeah, I can hear that sometimes too. Some in some places it's very strong. Hmm. 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 Peaceful warrior. I know you have a limited historical um, background because they don't teach you anything, which is why you must go and search outside of the school. That is the paradox. You don't have a reason to. That's why you don't know. They didn't give you a reason to go looking. So I'm sorry you don't know what we know, but I'm okay. Go figure it out because you know, what they taught you in school was like this much. And most of it was lies. So I don't argue with lies and I don't argue with what they taught you in school at the last piece of history. Go figure it out and come back. I don't know. It's like they took history in high school and think they know it all. And 99% of that was lies. So I mean that's funny. They be standing on lies. Go get the truth and come back. Then we can talk. I can't debate you if you don't have anything to debate because you can't debate like, you know, certain things because it just is. It's already in stone. It's already just been known and just you just not you never searched for it, so you don't know. Right. Debate me, I have the truth. You have like there is no truth, not in your information. Like honestly, this is why I don't talk about certain things on this channel as much as I used to because you always got that one, them couple of people that will come up in here thinking they know everything, sitting there with a McDonald's emblem on their shirt right now, overcompensating for the lack of education that they have. Also, overcompensating. Let me stop. Trying to remember and recall what they learned in history in high school, Googling stuff from recent history. Hmm. Hmm. Recent history, like I said. Ashir, don't allow the few to stop. Okay, okay. So we'll just ignore him since he got like a little bitty piece of history that is not relevant right now. Hmm. So knowing that, get your frequency up. Get ready for 10 years of leveling up spiritually, physically, and mentally if you are on the growing frequency that's growing with the planet. And I don't know, just manifest what you want to see and get yours. I guess that's what's going to basically be. You're just going to see a lot of people really getting, what they ask for. So be careful what you ask for. You know how they say, be careful what you ask for, and you will get it. And just make sure that you don't let other people, um, get in your way, and just keep your focus on what you want, and what you want to see in the earth, what you want to see in the world. Don't worry about things you already know the answers to. Research your ancient history. Research, your scientific makeup. Research your um, symbolism of your own, daily surroundings, because signs and symbols also speak to us. And when they cross our paths, sometimes we need, if we pay extra close attention to those things, that is how things communicate with us, as far as, the cosmos and the universe. They communicate through nature as well. So keep your eyes open for that. And, don't argue with people that are having a lower frequency, because it's just not going to make sense to you. And move on. Shira, how have you spoken to Trump on Trump being the last king or another thing? Yeah, the last president. You mean the last president? I think I did. Yeah. Hmm. So yeah, a drowned soul will always pull you down. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just here for those people that want to see what I'm talking about. But I will see y'all later. If y'all have any good topics that y'all want to discuss, nothing that is already on the channel, like from years ago. I'm not going backwards. I'm focused on what's going on now, tomorrow, like, you know, some deep, juicy, good stuff. So leave me some information or some suggestions in the comments. Um, if y'all want to discuss a certain thing, a certain topic, decode a certain thing that we haven't decoded yet, but not like something like silly or trivial, but something major. That would be interesting. It's like sometimes I don't I don't know what y'all don't know yet. So I'd like to hear like what major writing. I did order The Prophet. I ordered that book. So I'm to try to read that and see if there's something to decode in there. And I know someone asked me to decode some TV show, The Watchmen or something. So I'm gonna try to watch that. So let me know what y'all think, because I think a lot of you guys probably watched that show or read the book, The Prophet, and maybe I can do something like that. Zimbabwe's president's statement on the U.S. You got to tell me what it was because I didn't know. Let me put that in my notes and I'll go look it up. Uh-oh. What did he say? Is it long? Okay, I'll look it up. Okay, I put that as a reminder. Watchmen. Okay. Beyonce. I've already done Beyonce. Guarding the Gate. Quran. Pay attention to dreams. Yeah, definitely. His Dark Material. That's a show. Okay. Iran higher up destroyed a Swedish plane or something like that. Wow. But see, That's that's all that's all stuff too, like, Sweden, I don't know what was it over was it over their country? Was it over Switzerland? Or was it over Finland, wherever? Was it over the Netherlands? Was it over there, or was it in Iran? It's like there's certain places on the planet where they're going to be doing certain things in the air. Once again, like like the nukes and stuff, they have to do stuff in the air over certain areas. And that was another place as well that they were also removing a lot of the uh, veils over there in that area. Y'all remember that video I showed you when they were? It looked like they were cutting a hole in the ozone or the ionosphere with like this blue laser thing over Switzerland. Y'all remember that a long time ago, like a year or two ago? Well, that's because they have to let in certain frequencies in that area. So if you see stuff happening over Switzerland, if you see stuff happening over the US, if you see stuff happening over certain places like, what was that other place? Mm, New York, Louisiana, California, Switzerland, um, Japan. There are certain areas that are going to have to be activated, detonated, and pulsed. And so you're always going to see something going weird in the air over there because that's how they disguise it. Storms. Hmm. They already did it in Louisiana like a couple years ago. So usually in the summertime is when you'll see it. Okay. Northern electrical anomalies, abnormalities. Yeah, abnormalities. Just like on that show, Raising Dion. Watch that. It shows a lot of it in there. All right, I'm gonna go. Raising Dion has a lot of this information in it too. So I'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for watching. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Read Book of Esther in the Bible. Okay, Mel. Okay, I'm gonna write that down too. Thank you. Bye.